What is up, people? It is me, Monster58. Welcome back to another episode of Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon. Previously, we ended up giving ourselves fully into All Mind. We really went under their protection by basically doing what they wanted us to do for this Coral release project. We ended up taking out Snail and Niguasu at the Coral Convergence. All Mind ended up taking care of Walter, Carla. We also helped take care of Chatty. We basically took care of anyone and everyone that was, a hindrance to that Coral release project as determined by All Mind. And in a lot of these situations, we were also told, like, we were, killed in action, MIA, all this stuff, when in reality we actually didn't die, right? So, like, at the Coral Convergence, All Mind ended up basically giving data to, the world that, hey, Raven died in the Coral Convergence mission, instead of being actually, alive, all that stuff. And so, in this episode, we are going to be headed to Coral release and see where All Mind really wants us to go with this Coral release project. So, before we get into that, though, a couple things. Number one, I did decide, like I said in the last episode, at the end of the last, well, actually after last episode, I decided to make an AC dedicated to this final episode that is named Raven. And so I'm going to show you the assembly right now. When it comes to this assembly, got the Itachi, got the, was it the melee weapon for Rusty's melee weapon, a songbird, and a missile launcher. Very simple, very straightforward build with how this works, but I feel like for this final boss fight, this is something I would rather have, something strong that I'm relatively used to, especially considering I haven't fought this final boss since I started this Let's Play because, well, obviously I don't have access to it, unless I wanted to keep deleting and reopening, the save files for this one and the old save file to replay that mission. So I forgive me if this takes a minute. I wouldn't consider the final boss an easy mission at all. It's definitely one of the toughest fights in the game, but I would have to reevaluate whether I would consider it the toughest fight in the game. But just wanted to show you how this build was. We also have, I love this booster for like medium weight builds and stuff like that. The Ming Tang has always been one of my go-tos for a generator, and we have this as the targeting system essentially. So before we get into the final boss, however, there's one battle log we are missing, and that is actually in MIA right here. So I just actually looked up a video before this episode to make sure I knew where to find this, so I will show you guys where this is, and we will give you a little taste of how this build works. So to get this combat log, you want to proceed through this mission as normal, and I'll show you where you want to go to get the final combat log. Alright, once you get to this part, go through the heat exchanger room. Alrighty, once you're through here, you're gonna probably hear the Balaam dialogue. Once you hear this, you want to fall down here. And that is your final combat log of this entire game. That is all you need. Then proceed through the mission as normal, beat Pater, and you will have completed the combat log. Alrighty, folks. So, before we get into the episode, I'm actually recording this after I've beaten the final boss already, but what I would like to show is essentially all of the parts that I had missed. So there's one in the Coral Convergence mission called the Aurora. It's a shoulder weapon, and I'll show you how to get that right now. You're probably seeing that right on screen. So this is where that chest is located. You essentially have to beat Materlink, and you have to be Wu-Ha-Hai, and then you just go to the very right of that side of where they're fighting, and then you'll find that chest in the building. The other one is in the Regain Control of the Xylem, and essentially you have to find them in two spots that you'll see on screen right now. The first part is right at the beginning of the mission. The first chest is right at the beginning of the mission. You just drop down to your left, use the scanner to see it, and then you'll be able to open the chest and get I believe it's the missile launcher or the shield, one of the two, for the Coral missile launcher or the shield. And then the other one you'll be able to get at the end of the mission between the two last modules you have to get. So what I would recommend is you go into the center of the room, you scan, and then you'll see that chest immediately, which will also sort of alert you to, if it's between both of those modules, you'll be able to kill the modules even before you get those targeting things on screen, right, to help you do that. So there are two parts here in Underground Exploration Depth 3. We'll show them to you now. First one is near the very beginning here. Make your way down as normal. Make your way all the way over here. Should be right here. That chest right there. The next one, it's going to be on one of those bridges up here. And I believe, you see this log hunt guy right here? And then you fly right over here. And here is another part box as well. So grab both of these. If I can frickin' see that box right there. And the complete last one that I missed was survey the uninhabited floating city. This is the last part that we need. Make your way through the mission as normal until you get to the second ECM fog device. Okay, now that you're getting to the second one, it should be right over here on top of this building right here. So right here near the second ECM device, which is right over there, it is right here. Grab this, and that's the last part that we missed. Sorry about that. Realized that after I completed the game that I didn't unlock all the parts, but as you can see, we unlocked all the parts, so I'm very happy with that. Just wanted to get that out of the way before we got into the final boss, so yeah. Alrighty, and yes, that's funnily enough the first time I've ever gotten all the combat logs, because I never got them on my first playthrough. But just so you know, essentially the weapon that you get is a melee weapon, and that is the... So let me go and show it off real quick. Where is it? Yeah, there it is, the Coral Oscillator. So you can see how this thing works. So it's a very simple melee weapon like that. There's not really much to it, but yes, this is the melee weapon that Walter was using against us in his AC, in his fight that we ended up taking. So, very unique melee weapon. I've seen it used. I think I'm going to end up putting it on something, right? So we'll see how this goes. But really cool melee weapon. Really, really cool. Very unique. I don't think it's really all that great, but the Coral Big Beam is obviously very, very fun. Now, one more thing I'd like to touch on before we even get into the final boss fight, before I give the tips for that. When it comes to All Mine, something very interesting. If you actually don't do any of the arena prior to the third New Game Plus playthrough, you actually get some unique dialogue. And I'm actually going to link a video down in the video description that I found that gives you all of All Mine's unique dialogue depending on when you complete like the arena, the combat logs and stuff like that. I will link that video down below because that was really cool that I actually didn't even know that prior to this Let's Play. I just happened upon it when I was doing research in between videos and stuff like that. I can't remember. Maybe it was like a couple of weeks ago at this point when I was doing that research, and I was just like, oh, that's really interesting. I didn't even know that All Might had that. So I will link that video that I found down below so you guys can watch that unique dialogue that All Might gives you depending on when you complete the arena, because it's really kind of funny. All Might has like this very like blank and very, you know, they're very, All Mine's very like, you know, monotone, right? So you get like this very playful kind of like, hey, you decide to actually do it, or did you not decide to do it, or how like what kind of a person that you like, very similar to what we got here with that recent dialogue at the end here. But not going to babble on any longer. You guys can look at that at your discretion. It's just very, very cool. But for the final boss fight, this is a two-phase fight. This is very much a two-phase fight, and it's not more like it's two phases, in my opinion. It's more like it's two full separate fights. And you'll see what I mean. So my biggest tip, without spoiling anything, is definitely go into the first fight, and you want to obviously come out of that first fight with as little damage as possible. So we'll see how this goes, see how many tries it takes, see if I actually need to adjust the build. But I think the build will be fine going into it. We'll end up seeing how it performs. Again, I apologize, I said at the beginning of the video, I'm not exactly sure how much of the, how good I will be at it, because considering I haven't played this fight in a fair bit of time, essentially the entirety of the duration of this Let's Play. Now, you might notice I do have the sortie, like it's not marked that I haven't seen it yet. I have seen it. It was just because I recorded this and realized, oh crap, I want to show the last battle log before we get into the final fight. So, let's get that babbling out of the way. Let's see what All Mind wants for Coral release.
Augmented Human C4621, Raven. We offer you our gratitude. All impediments to Coral release have been eliminated, and the complications caused by Handler Walter's meddling are soon to be corrected. The final stage is at hand. Together, we shall achieve Coral release.
Alrighty, folks. Let's do it.
What awaits us on the other side? Raven, let's find out together.
Look. The coral siphoned by the corporations is beginning to resonate. Augmented Human C4621. Raven, your role has come to an end.
Well, well. I've been waiting for this freelancer. I became part of this monster, so I can crush you. This time, you will die.
Iguazu. Alrighty, this part's pretty tough because of these frickin' drones, dude.
Better than that, freelancer. Fun's just getting started.
Try and get rid of these frickin' stupid drones. These guys are so annoying. Dude, please. Goodness, now I can focus on Iguazu. So Iguazu! Yeah, you didn't think we'd see this idiot again after we took care of him. I guess we do. So I'll explain how this goes when we actually complete the mission and everything like that, but very interesting how this story goes. Oh, come on, man.
Freelancer. You killed me. Not just once. Well, there's a whole lot of us inside of me now. Dregs with a grudge. So tell me, who else are you going to
His body won't last.
Guess it's time.
Raven, All Might's going to try something.
alterations to the plan.
Irregulars. We will bring order to chaos.
I'm with you, Raven. Now, I can fight by your side. I'll support you, Raven.
Damn, boys. It was you all along. I'll kill you and the freelancer.
There. Your siblings will surely welcome us.
So, the spiders, you can honestly ignore them.
Yes, Iguazu.
Get out of my head!
Oh my god, the targeting is annoying me.
Iguazu. You are one with All Might. No one can stop you now.
I said I don't care about All Might. Some of this, I'll give it to you. Shut up! I'll shut you all up!
It's resonating.
Iguazu, what are you...
Interference. I'm losing sync. I can't fight anymore.
This ghost of me won't last long. Leave a spot for me in hell.
Well, sucks there. Yeah, that I took too much damage in the first phase. It's just those drones are so annoying. That's why I said this isn't. I wouldn't consider this an easy fight. I'll say the first part of the fight, in my opinion, is even harder than this one. Essentially, he's got some moves in the second phase that are very similar to when Air fought you. So essentially, they took the big, was it, I forget, the Ibis series, machine that Air used against us, and we're essentially fighting an AC first, and then we're fighting the big Ibis series, modified obviously for all intents and purposes. Like I said at the beginning of the fight, you can kind of like just ignore. In the second phase, you can just ignore the sea spiders, because once you get him to the second phase, the sea spiders become completely pointless. It's just try, like I said, to get through that first part of the fight without taking as little damage as possible. But real quick, since we're at a little break, really interesting. You already see why Iguazu is part of this, because he sort of did the same thing we did, where we went through our playthroughs over and over again. That Iguazu, the Iguazus were different, but they all ended up melding themselves into All Mind, and now all of the memories from all of those playthroughs of us annihilating Iguazu over and over again are now in this singular version of All Mind, and him joining the Beast just to get another last crack at us to be able to, get rid of us for sure. But without further ado, folks, I will try to get through the first phase. I'll see how well I can get through the first phase once again, and we'll meet back whenever I get the full good run of this fight. So, let's see what happens. Yeah. No way, I healed, though. No, dude, so close. Yeah.
Main system activating combat mode.
Raven, All Might's real goal.
C4621, Raven. C-pulse wave mutation. There. You are the trigger for Coral Release. We'll make you one with us.
I don't care about the big plan. I just want that damn freelancer dead.
Yeah, escaping that, buddy. Alright, we can stay relatively close-ish to him. Nope, missed. Too far. He had to jump away because of those stupid reverse joint legs.
Freelancer. You killed me.
Okay, nice. That was the cleanest first phase I've done, so...
Damn, boys. It was you all along. I'll kill you and the Freelancer.
There. Your siblings will surely welcome us. Equus.
Nice damage. That was very nice.
No one can stop you now.
I said I don't care.
Where is he? Where is he?
Mind.
Where is he? Where is he?
Some of this, I'll give it to you.
Where the heck is he? I have no clue where he went. Oh, there he is. Oh, come on, man.
This is your chance, Iguazu.
It's out of my head!
Oh, I can't. I can't. I can't go in on that. Oh, no, I can't. Well, I went to the... God, of course. First phase is super clean, and then this happens. Lovely.
Interference. I'm losing sync. I can't fight anymore.
They're gone. Ringing. Those stupid voices. It's all clear now. I feel good. Now, it's just you and me. It was always so easy for you. The old Jet who could do it all. But what makes you special?
You were a mistake, Iguazu. Irregular. Raven, now's your chance.
Iguazu. Dispose.
Oh my god, let's go!
I always envied you. The Freelancer. Who had it all?
Our plan. Humanity. Creation's potential.
We have the trigger. And we'll pull it ourselves. It's beginning. Cool place. Isn't it beautiful? Thank you, Raven. Raven, you're finally awake. The coral has carried us, disseminated us across the stars. Now, we're everywhere. Anywhere. Raven, let's meet this new age together. Main system, activating combat mode.
Alrighty, folks, that is the end of Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon. Man, that was a really close fight. I just decided to go for the swing since he was so low, and we ended up making it work. Yeah, that was obviously a lot. I made it a bit tougher than I should have. I could have switched builds and stuff like that, would have made it easier. But at the end of the day, we did it, folks. And so, talking about this game, something very interesting that I learned just going through this, it just happened, like happenstance was how I ended up figuring this out. So this planet that we're on is called Rubicon. There's actually, for those of you who don't know, there's a river that exists called the Rubicon River, and this river has a big significance in Roman history in particular because it involves Julius Caesar. Basically, I think it was 40-something BC, Julius Caesar essentially he wasn't an elected official yet, and he was leading an army, but he was allowed to lead his army based on his actual position of whatever he was in. When he got to the Rubicon River was important because it was basically the border between where they were in Italy. But since, according to Roman law, he wasn't an elected official at the time, he was not allowed to pass the river, but he decided to do this anyway. And this means this has significant meaning here because the ending of this ending, the final and true ending of Armored Core 6, is called Alea Iacta Est, which essentially roughly translates into Latin phrase for the die has been cast, or in other words, there's no turning back. And so when Julius Caesar crossed the Rubicon River, he said Alea Iacta Est, which basically means there's no turning back now. And so that's how this applies here. And if you want further confirmation that this is how this game was really meant to go, like this theme, keep in mind the ocean that we crossed to get to the ice field was called the Alien Ocean. So there's a lot of these themes of, you know, Walter doesn't want to cast the die, but we end up pulling that trigger in the end. Now, there's a lot of debate in the community, to my understanding, especially when this game first came out, on whether this was really the good ending of this game, despite it being the true ending of the game. In all reality, the true good ending is the Liberator of Rubicon ending. This was more... This has its ups and its downs, obviously, in terms of maybe the way that you look at it, but essentially, obviously, as Air explained, now the coral is disseminated across not just Rubicon, but everywhere. And so that true symbiosis between coral and humanity can now coincide and push forward to a new age, as essentially we've called it. But with that little lore all out of the way, how do I look at this Let's Play in this game after playing this through again? I love this game a lot. Like I said at the beginning of this Let's Play, I'd been looking for a game that was a Gundam single-player game where you can make your own Gundam. And since we've never really gotten it, we've more gotten Gundam Breaker, Gundam Evolution, more these multiplayer but not really or not really serious games in particular with Gundam Breaker. It's not like a story-driven story-driven single-player game. This was a really awesome game to actually have access to, and I hope we get something like this again in the future. I hope we get like an Armored Core 7, because I'd love to do this again with sort of a new twist on the formula, see what FromSoft can come up with to push this IP into a different age and a different game. So I really, really love this game. The customization, the voice acting. Sure, I think the biggest criticism of this game as a whole will definitely be the lack of any faces to put to names, right? We had the art and stuff like that throughout the game, like the extra art, but at the end of the day, when it comes to this game's actual story, there's no faces to put the story to, and it would have been cool to see people actually conversing with one another, and I can totally understand if you have that if you have that sentiment and that feeling towards this game, but I personally still love it. Looking at this Let's Play as a whole, I'm sure we had some long episodes and stuff like that. I think I was able to break this Let's Play down into some pretty good chunks so that we weren't, like... I think I was happy with the way I handled, like, going through New Game Plus and the New Game Plus Plus, skipping over and showing sort of the meaningful things that we needed to show, right, and then skipping everything that was exactly the same. I thought that was pretty fun, and so overall, I hope you guys really enjoyed this. I love this game, and I hope you guys, after watching this, will give it a try. If you haven't given it a try, or you're not playing along or something like that, this game is really, really enjoyable. There's so much skill expression, so much fun to build your own mech. You can import your own decos, you can create your own decos. There's just so much fun and creativity. And for me, the one thing I told my buddy who's a Dark Souls fan, he played Elden Ring, if he decides to play this game, I told him the major difference with this game, I'd say, in terms of comparing it to an Elden Ring or a Dark Souls or a Bloodborne or something like that, is the fact that there's a lot more verticality in this game. This game is more omnidirectional, while I'm not saying that Dark Souls and Elden Ring weren't omnidirectional, but this is much more omnidirectional considering you are... excuse me, you are encouraged to fly because your ACs can fly, right? But the mechanics feel so crisp and clean in this game. The graphics are really, really good. Voice acting is obviously fantastic. Gameplay is really rewarding. There's just so much to like about this game, and it's not a perfect game by any stretch of the imagination. But at the end of the day, I really do hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope you were entertained by this Let's Play. This is a game I really do love, and although I hadn't really touched it in a while, I'll tell you, once I started to make builds over and over and over again, that's when my love for this game started to, you know, come back up again. I was like, I was finding myself wanting to play this game not only for the Let's Play, but like outside of the Let's Play. That's why I would come back with so many different builds for these last, you know, like this last second and third playthrough, because I was just enjoying experimenting and making these builds, and doing all this research and just finding that the lore behind the Rubicon River that has to do with the Roman Empire here in real life, like finding out that lore and the inspiration behind going to planet Rubicon and then everything like that, you know, crossing the Alien Ocean, having this last, you know, playthrough ending being called Yak Est, right? So there's just so much cool things I found out about this game, so many cool things that I just really enjoy, and like I said, as a Gundam enjoyer, as a giant robot enjoyer, it just fulfilled all that single player I needed, especially because these days I find myself playing a lot more single player than multiplayer. Still, I'll play multiplayer games with some buddies, obviously, I will. But especially this past year in 2025, and, you know, even starting that last half of 2024, I was really just finding myself enjoying sitting here playing these single player games, which is why I recently picked up, I want to finish Octopath Traveler, picked up Octopath Traveler 2, God of War. I played both the first two Doom games, Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal, like the reboots, obviously, like the continuation of the Doom series, right? I want to play Dark Ages. I just have been enjoying these single-player games, and this was part of that, right? I've been playing Donkey Kong Bonanza as well. I've been really enjoying the hell out of that game. That game is so much fun. But off topic, you know, that's sort of off topic, but as we come down here to the credits, thank you, all of you who watched and decided to enjoy and indulge in my giant robot, like, passion and love. Really hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you. Yep.
Registration number RB23. Call sign Raven. Authentication complete. Removing MIA status. Restoring access privileges. This is Allmind, the mercenary support system. Welcome back, Raven.
Looks like you passed the authentication. You've got plenty of experience. should be ready for whatever Rubicon throws at you. I've picked up some work for you already. Take a look, 621.
Alrighty, folks, and we are back after me recording that little monologue about the parts that I missed. And I apologize for sort of the mismatched cuts and timing and stuff like that. I just realized after I beat the final boss that, hey, you actually don't have all the parts. And as you can see with the achievement I got, yeah, we have all the parts finally. But what I'd like to talk about here is just thanking you guys. Regardless if you viewed a short of this Let's Play, you viewed a video, anything like that, whether it's 1 view, 2 views, 3 views, even no views, which I don't know who I'm talking to if I have no views. But regardless, I want to thank you for the support on this Let's Play, and I hope you guys look and stick around and look forward to more of these. The last thing I'd like to touch upon this game, besides my enjoyment of it, me with my monologue during the credits, I really did like the, I know it's a bit weird, a lot of people threw me off for the first time, but to have, Iguazu be essentially the final boss of this game is really cool, because I like the idea that he was this, inferiority complex, and what he did is essentially all of the Iguazus that we had killed, they all went into Allmind and were looking for revenge, and that he was willing to become, as he said, part of the monster so he could crush us, right? So really interesting way of doing it, but honestly, they're really, really cool. And there's some cool lore videos out there. I'll see if I can find one and link it in the description. I need to watch this video as a whole, but from the title and the thumbnail, I was already invested in taking a quick look. I think I watched a little bit of it, but I never ended up finishing the video. But regardless, really interesting how that goes. And so, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of Armored Core 6. Our next Let's Play will be coming, not in super long. It's not going to take super long, but at the end of the day, I would like to have a little bit of time to take a break from, everything with, this video recording for this Let's Play, and just focus on trying to replay that game, trying to get back and used to that game once again. It's been a minute since I've played and touched it. There's a couple of things I'd like to prepare for it as well. And so, at the end of the day, guys, once again, I'd like to thank you all for the support for this Let's Play. Another one in the books, right? We are in Let's Play number 7, and we already know the next 2 games. The next game is going to be a much more lighthearted game in comparison to this, and the start of a new franchise on this channel that I'm really, really excited to bring to you guys. And the following game after that's actually going to be a much more serious game, very similar to this in terms of the seriousness of the story and everything like that. So we'll definitely get into that when we get into that. I already know what 2 games, but hope you guys look forward to the next Let's Play. But again, I thank you guys for viewing this one, even if it was for 1 second, 1 view, whatever. Thank you so much, and I hope you stick around for future ones. So, I thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video. Please like, comment, rate, and subscribe. Share this video with your friends, and also follow me on the socials. Those will be linked in the description below. And once again, I'd like to thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this Let's Play as a whole, and I will catch you all in the next one. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Peace.
High ambitions and the right mind can take you so far. It's like you lived a few lives.